What's up, people? We are continuing the work today. Um, I'm still feeling rather antisocial, but anyway, gotta escape the pain of stagnation, the pain of being human, and telling yourself multiple different stories why you're still here. So, in order to stop thinking about that, let's work on some mana action. Today's topic, um, rushing does not mean you're going to finish any sooner. Mm-mm-mm. That just came to me randomly as I was somewhat like panicking, I suppose, that, oh, I need to finish right now. And that came about because I went to go print um, all these sketches out. And I'm like, dude, it's the same amount of effort inking digitally or um, traditionally. The only difference is traditional isn't going to fry your eyes. I just have to be careful when I ink digitally, not to spend too much time. So, meaning I cannot ink many pages in one go. I can, but I shouldn't because it's going to fry my eyes. So I was like, what is the rush, dude? And the rush, well, the rush was to finish sooner. But then after our whole discussion yesterday, I realized that, the sooner you finish, the sooner you're going to be unsatisfied all over again, right? The sooner you're going to experience the pain all over again, right? So you shouldn't rush. That doesn't mean be lazy. Just means you shouldn't rush. Because that doesn't really mean you're going to finish sooner. Even if you do, you're going to be dissatisfied a lot sooner with yourself and with everything else in your life. So, yeah, you just gotta go at a steady pace, a comfortable pace. So, that's why I'm like, you know what? Let me just ink digitally. And not worry about rushing. Some things are quicker than others when it comes to inking. So, okay. What's up, Rookie and Bloodness X? We up again. I'm not planning to go as long as I did yesterday. Today, I do have quotas. I realize that there's no way I can ink and render 4 pages in one day. It's impossible. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to ink these two and try to render both. I really wanted to ink this one, but I might not have the energy, but I'll try, at least just to ink this page here. I already inked this one. So, yeah, honestly. Gotta do what I can while I can. There was supposed to be a lightning storm today. Thank goodness the app was incorrect, because I was like, man, I don't want a storm today. I wanna focus. And luckily, the weather was on my side today, so I'm making sure that I use my time wisely. Tomorrow there'll probably be a storm though. Hopefully not. I realized that when inking somewhat like action scenes, it's actually better to be really loose with your line art, right? Just let it flow, even if it looks rather scratchy. I think it just works. The head is rather too big. I'll decrease it. At this point, I might ink everything digitally. I don't know, but I'm just trying to have fun with it at this point. I'm not trying to rush anymore. Doesn't mean I'm gonna finish a lot sooner. What if there was another lightning storm? No matter how much I rush, I'd be delayed because I couldn't control the weather. So, I just gotta do what I can. Make sure that I stay away from the void and stay away from the donuts. Did I have a donut yet? Yes, there was one donut left today, and I had it. That was the last donut. So, no more donuts for the rest of the month, hopefully. If they have donuts at the Christmas dinner, well, hey, it's Christmas, bro. I can't say no. Now for this hand, I totally don't see what the hell I even was doing here. Oh, and by the way, for the illustration that we were doing yesterday, I decided to color in some of the posters in the elevator. Just adding some color there. Uh, Looks real nice. Makes it look real cool. But anyways, is this Kirita? I don't know who Kirita is, bro. Are you talking about the soundtrack? Because the soundtrack is the Tenkaichi 2 soundtrack. So yeah. Hey, I don't be in the chat much, but wanted to let you know, even though I don't agree with all of your takes, more of your old stuff, you be telling the truth about this indie space and the manga format. So keep doing your thing. Alright, man, much appreciated. Read the title, and yeah, that's why most of the comics that's coming out nowadays, especially in the indie space, are dog shit. Honestly, I don't even think they're dog shit because people are rushing. They are dog shit because people don't know what they're doing, bro. That is the main thing. They don't know what they're doing. I would actually, I think if they were to rush, it could be better in their case, in the context of these people. It could be better, right? But if you're somebody like me, I'm saying, because you always do the work, don't rush, right? Don't rush. Because in my case, whether I rush or not, that isn't going to determine that I'll finish on the day I want to finish. Why? Because there's too many variables that I can't control throughout my day. It's like that for most people, if you're not a billionaire, I guess. But, you know, there are levels to this. There are levels to this. So, if more indie people try to rush because they're in a better situation or a slightly decent situation, it'd be better off because it would show people that at least they're trying to get product out sooner. Maybe if they had help, like assistance and so on. But ultimately, you have to know what type of person you are and where you are at in your journey in this art game. Chief, as a South African artist, how do you get your work out? It seems work like this only appeals to international audiences rather than locally. Of course, bro. Niggas here don't care, except. They don't care, bro. Like, I have never gotten like true support here, aside from maybe a handful of people. Let's see. I only remember one guy from high school, bro. One guy from high school. And yeah, he was like 3 years younger than me. And he was from the hood. Right? Unfortunately, you cannot sell to people here, bro. Like, Vele, you're gonna have to leave it alone, bro. Like, don't even bother. Niggas here, you know what they like. They like piano, kota, shisanyama, slay queen culture, politics, ANC garbage. There's no point, man. You have to appeal to people who actually like what you can produce. It's that simple. That's why there needs to be a balance. Yeah, a balance. Another thing, I think most people are too focused on trying to be mainstream instead of being niche. You know, I'm going to be the next Oda, or I'm gonna make the next Demon Slayer. Yeah, I agree. I agree there, Saito. You're right. You're right. And I think when people feel like, oh man, I'm so far away from being Oda, or people aren't seeing me as an Oda right now, they want to drop the ball and leave it alone. And Kirita is an illustration app. No, I'm using Clip Studio. Clip Studio Paint, just the normal one, not EX. Yeah, a lot of people want to be the next Oda or the next Dragon Ball. I was there. I mean, I even said that Coffee Originals is going to Berry Jump and so on, but it doesn't have to. because at the end of the day, people will consume anything these days. So Jump doesn't have the value it once had. You know, ooh, why read Shonen Jump? Ooh, Shonen Jump is this, Shonen Jump is that. Well, it's not that anymore. So to even compare your stuff to it, well, it's kind of disrespectful to yourself at this point, unless you want to be dishing out slop and random stuff. So, let's not disrespect ourselves anymore. Comparing our stuff to Jump. Jump is washed. They have a hunchback of a chief editor. So they've lost my respect. All credibility gone out the window. Thanks, BlackRock. Thanks a lot. But nothing lasts forever, so it's fine. It was bound to happen sooner or later. Okay, now we can finally get to the fun part. Which is the rendering. I hate it when I do things on the wrong layer. Cause now look at what I gotta do. Okay, that's all the pencils gone. Time to use my favorite little brush thingy. Okay, before I even start doing my thing here, oh, I'm not done yet. Need to add some here. Now remember, I said I don't put line weight on every panel. It depends on the importance of the scene. And then do the same here. Alex is way buffer than I honestly, than he honestly should be. And I can't make him any thinner. I just can't. Alex is twice the size of Jacob in terms of muscle. And that was an accident. They were supposed to be more or less the same, but Alex a bit taller. I don't know what went wrong, but oh well. He's not supposed to be this swole. For those curious, will Alex always be stronger than Jacob? Well, Alex, the only reason he is strong anyway is because he's got magecraft abilities. Honestly, that's it. If he didn't have that, he'd actually be at a very, very serious disadvantage. He's definitely strong as a captain, but that's because of his magecraft abilities. Without that, well, I would say he would be at Jacob's full strength level. They'd more or less be equal. But Jacob would be stronger because, well, if he uses Soul Sync. So Jacob without Soul Sync, can he take Alex on? Well, I think in raw fighting abilities, Jacob does have somewhat of an advantage. Alex has always somewhat relied on brute strength and his magecraft abilities. He never really had to train, even though his dad was a raid legion captain. He never got trained by him. So, but these two going at it in a fighting game would be really cool. Would be really cool. We're gonna see some of Alex's other abilities as to what is the extent of Magecraft, the Magecraft power system. Because we got a Bizcraft, right? So now it's like, okay, well, what's with Magecraft? How far can it go? So this fight is kind of going to show that as to how far it can go. Okay, you know, the first fun part of inking digitally always is when you put all the black areas to intensify the contrast, right? But before I do that, with the little energy I have left for inking per se, let me ink this. Because I really, really like this page. It might be my favorite one in the whole chapter. Let's start with Ivory. Since I only have to ink one side and then I'll just duplicate it. Ivory's hair is complicated. Okay, when you just got it like that, let me just add some of the scratches on her. Why she got scratches, bro? Well, somebody was scratching all over her, that's why. And he made sure that he won't scratch the whole surface area. That's what he said in volume 2. Nah, I won't put the mouth. Okay, and then, oh, I'll just duplicate the layer. You know what? I'm gonna ask Pierce if he can jump on. Pierce, if you are here, jump on, man. But let me send him a text. See if he's available. We'll see what he says. But then there's a lightning storm where he's at. And I'm looking outside right now, the wind is picking up. Let me look at the weather app right now. Oh, well, it's what the hell? It's way off. That's strange. It's never been this off. Okay, well, good for me. We'll wait and see what Pierce says. Hopefully the lightning ain't got him on his side of town. Some of y'all might be curious, why do I always put weird shapes on the women's forehead? Like, the vampire women have it, not all of them, but Irene has it, Lisa the fairy has it. Why? And now, even Ivory has it. Well, I just think it looks cool. But aside from that, there is some background to at least the vampires one. That one was somewhat explained already in the story. And for the fairy one, it will be explained eventually. Okay, Time to ink the giant monster in the background. And as for the castle over there, well, I'm just going to take the castle I did already. Okay, monster. Let's do this. Gotta get them teeth right. What the? I don't remember any story I've done prior that had giant monsters. Like, like never. I don't remember ever trying to go ham on monsters and so on. Creatures, stuff like that. Bloody hell has allowed me to explore everything that I wouldn't have explored in the other stories I used to do in the past. It makes things more interesting. I was thinking of putting ghouls in the story. At first I really wanted to, but I was like, damn, bro, I can get away with it because in a way I've established, something over there in the story. But I'm like, I shouldn't do it the way I originally planned or wanted. So now I'm like, okay, I can add some ghouls, but it's not gonna be the way I wanted. It's just gonna be something useful and interesting. Yeah, Shonen Jump is shit at this point. If it wasn't for One Piece, they would have went bankrupt. I saw a post on Twitter about a bunch of Japanese people were like hating on One Piece right now or complaining about the editors in charge of One Piece. I want to do a video on that on Patreon, where I dissect the entire thread because, bruh, they were like roasting One Piece and the editors. That what's the point of One Piece right now? So much unnecessary trash happening in there. So One Piece is not even as good as it once was. The Japanese are complaining about it, bro. Because one of them mentioned how the original fans of One Piece have grown up. They want the story to conclude. Luffy seems to grow in power scale, in power level, but not in character. You know, and that's very important. So it's gonna be a nice dissection when I do that video. Sad to see indies rise and fall so quick and then never be heard again. No shit why Japanese don't take the West serious. If they had a stroke of coffee's vitality and better direction, then maybe. Yeah, bro. If only, man. If only, right? But hey, even the Japanese are falling apart right now. But then again, it's a sponsored collapse. So I don't want to blame them too much. But at the same time, you can. Either way, people just aren't serious. They ain't serious. Kagurabashi doesn't have a story to tell. It just wants to be flashy. And I wouldn't even say fun. Like, I wouldn't consider Kagurabashi a fun story, bro. It's just an artistic mess. That's all it is. I said fall quick rather than fall hard and not recover. Yeah, Jump can only push Kagurabashi and Ichi. The rest are a joke. That is so true. They have been pushing Ichi the Witch and Kagurabashi. They got nothing else. That worthless editor-in-chief is an abomination, bro. Like, what a legendary sabotage, man. Like, good grief. They got no stories left to tell. Oh, we don't know. Oh, blah, blah. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, well. Oh, well. My interest for Jump is Jump Plus. A lot better compared to Weekly. Yeah, there is some nice, decent stuff on Jump Plus. If you can find any of those and actually read them. A lot of the online versions of manga in Shueisha or Kodansha are rather decent. Problem is, it's not translated, right? You would think AI would be used for that particular use, but I guess not, right? I guess not. What's your favorite part of the process? Storyboarding, sketching, or inking, or even backgrounds? It used to be sketching. It always changes, right? I hate storyboarding. I hate it. So my favorite right now, I suppose it has to be inking in a way, but not actually putting the line to the pencil line, but actually putting all the blacks in the appropriate area. So let me rather say the rendering is my most favorite part of the process. Not the sketching, not the inking, not the storyboards definitely, but the rendering. Any advice for a young artist in the South trying to get exposure? I'm 21, so I don't know if I should take this art thing serious. Bro, if you're in South Africa, right? Hey, dog, it's late, bro. Sorry. You should take art seriously, but not in the way where all your eggs are in this basket. What you should do is just get a job so you can stay alive. That's it. And then you do art on the side, and your best bet is to market to an international audience, right? Sell to people who actually like what you are producing. You're not gonna find dudes in South Africa who care about your stuff enough to like it or to purchase it. They might like it, but they'll never purchase it, bro. You know niggas be broke these days here, right? So even us, this is why a lot of countries are trying to cater to the American pie, because Americans still have a rather nicely big chunk of disposable income. They still do, even though they're being squeezed to death. There's still enough disposable income where they can spend it on their hobbies, right? So your best bet is catering to the Western pie, because they still have some solid disposable income, right? They actually don't mind tossing money at things that they enjoy. Unlike people here, right? Dudes can say, I love this, I love that, and he will not spend a dime on it, right? He won't, but he would spend a lot on the liquor bottle, because that would help him, well, not think about how much of a mess he's in. So get a job, bro. Like, I used to tell other people that maybe you should go into, what's that thing called? Wielding. I forgot the proper term. But I realize now that the industrial sector in this country is completely jacked right now. So is every other sector, really. You kind of need connections. I got the job I have at the bookstore because I knew the manager. So, yeah, it really, really isn't easy, bro. Just try to get a job, to stay alive, right? To have some money in your pocket, and refresh your soul by producing art. Follow the MANAA ingredients, right? Cater to people who would actually buy your stuff. That's all there is to it, right? If you're trying to make $8 million with art or working at the gas station, it's not gonna work, bro. Assess your circumstance. Look at what you can achieve in your circumstance, right? Look at what's possible. Don't look beyond the walls, bro. Look at the walls that you find yourself in, and look at what you can use to, elevate. That's pretty much it. Also, I watched a new video on your Patreon. To think that dude has talked a good game yet decided to quit. I know, right? These people only can talk a good game. That's all they're good for. They ain't got no completed work. Their work is atrocious. No direction. Don't want to take advice from anyone, even if it was from Osamu Tezuka himself. They'd never listen to him. They just a bunch of entitled brats and losers. So screw them. The jokes write themselves, that's all I gotta say. Totally. Speaking of giant monsters, you heard about the new Godzilla anime that's being produced, which is basically Kaiju number 8, but Godzilla. Bruh, I can't, man. I cannot care about a Godzilla anime. I like the Godzilla movies, but they milking the life out of it right now. And there is no way I'm gonna watch a Godzilla anime. I'm just not a consumer like that anymore. I'm not. These people will milk everything to death. Like, ay, chihuahua, I can't anymore, bro. I can't take it seriously. It's like, look, I have my favorite Godzilla movies. I'll consume that if I feel like Godzilla. I don't need Godzilla versus King Kong, or Godzilla the anime. I'm good. So, nah, I'm not gonna watch that, bro. Yeah, man, sorry to break your heart. But that is the world we live in. That's the world we live in. Our biggest problem is that we all graduated high school and expected that things were going to work out because our parents said so, and the TV. We were not prepared at all to witness the betrayal and the reality that is life. That, oh, you think just because you did everything right, you're going to be successful, you're going to be deserving of what you worked for, what you worked towards? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, man. There are people who have done the right thing and ended up in the grave with nothing. And I know someone like that. Well, he's still alive, but Oh, dude, I feel so bad for him. He did everything right. He saved his money, you know, and his crazy wife pretty much squandered all that money. All that money is basically 4 million rand. That's about, how much is that in dollars? Let's just say it's about $200,000, $300,000. That's a lot of money that you saved up only for your wife to jack it all up because she doesn't want to use her brain and blame you for it. He did everything right, bro. Now he pretty much lost everything for his retirement. He's working ultra hard in his old age, and I'm like, man, this isn't fair. But that word fair is evil in itself. That word fair shouldn't exist. It really should not exist. Growing up, I used to complain that things are not fair all the time. You know, if I didn't get no milk and cookies, I would say, that's not fair. That's not fair. All the time. And one day, I was already in my late 20s. I was like, dude, I think you need to stop saying that, eh? Of course life isn't fair. Who do you think you are? Type thing. Oh boy, let me take this. Right, life isn't fair, life isn't fair. All the way until into my adult life, there was always an expectation for things to be fair at some point. And I'm like, that day will never come, will it? No, it never will. Um, you can do everything right and be completely butchered, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, the biggest lie I ever told was things will work out after you graduate. Nope. Just because it worked out for some, it doesn't mean it's going to work out for all of us. For those that it worked out for, they are a minority. I used to tell some of my friends that, look, man, our parents, they are a minority, right? They tell us things that work for them. But when you assess the population number of their generation, how many of them actually succeeded? How many of them actually became what our parents could become? And obviously, it's just a tiny percentage. And I'm like, for all this time, we have been listening to a minority of parents that were able to succeed, right? They just were lucky because there were other people who worked hard just like them who got screwed over. Or some who were about to get the job and got hit by a truck. And then the job had to be given to some hunchback, right? So when I realized that, damn, it is not a given that you do all these things and it's gonna work out for you, it's really not. Yeah, my mind broke, man. My mind broke. A lot of people don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, bro. You're demoralizing me. Man, I'm trying to help you so that you don't die of disappointment. Because disappointment can kill, bro. Like, the day you feel like it's pointless to even try, yeah, you're close to the end. Like, you're close to the end, bro. I'm sick and tired of these disappointments. You know, it's been a while since I've disappointed myself. You know, ever since I decided to focus on myself and expect things from myself, of course, while assessing the circumstance, it's been very rare to feel those feelings of disappointment. It's been very rare. I honestly don't remember the last time I disappointed myself. Sure, I had a few donuts this past week, but I enjoyed it. I don't give a damn. I clearly needed it because by eating all those donuts, it reset my brain that something is wrong, bro. You've had one too many. Like, oh, you're right. What is going on? Let me go deep and ask myself what's going on. Let me ask the inner man. Inner man, what's going on? Oh man, this and that and that and the third and like, oh, I see. That's what was going on. So eating those donuts really woke me up. So it wasn't, I can't call it a disappointment, um, or a disappointment in myself. It helped. It helped eating all of those donuts. It helped me realign myself even further. Like, what are you running from, dude? Why you gotta eat so much sugar? I don't know. Oh, now I know. It is the nothingness. Running away from the nothingness. How do we solve it? By drawing. Because my body was automatically. See, this is why I say you don't have free will the way you think, right? Not the way you think. So I automatically was just eating them donuts to try and escape the void. And I had no idea that this is what was happening. But I'm glad I ate those donuts. They tasted good and they helped me realize that, oh, I'm running away from the void and here is what I can do about it so that I don't rely on the donuts. Let me check if Pierce responded to the message. Nah, I guess the lightning storm probably torched his whole house or his neighborhood. Because where he's at, lightning storm is worse than here. Oh well. Maybe he'll be able to jump on later. Okay, I don't have a name for this creature. It's not actually a real creature in the story, but these types of creatures in the story have been somewhat identified. Oh wait, there is a name for it. I even said it. Yeah, but one of this size, no one really knows about it. They just heard about it in stories, and we have Ivory here imagining it. Now, when it comes to drawing monsters of epic scale, honestly, the amount of detail, tiny detail that you put in is like critical. And I'm not really good at that because I don't draw monsters often. So let me just see what I can do. I want to add all that detail. In the appropriate places. The lines have to be ultra thin when you want to show, the scale of the monster. Okay. Ah. Oh, I forgot some of the teeth need to be black. Like over here. Um, this is, as I said, part of the process that I like the most, the rendering, bro. It's the most fun. This damn internet connection is always jacking my ish up. Always on and off. Okay. I used to be a die-hard Godzilla fan, but yeah, I agree. Yeah, bro. I totally agree. I can't consume Godzilla like that 1,000 times. Nah, man. Like, nah. If they release a Dragon Ball Super anime in the next season, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm tired. I'm good with the OG stuff. I'm tired, bro. Soundtrack, even in Dragon Ball Super, is complete ass, bro. I suppose the Ultra Instinct soundtrack is decent, but Ultra Instinct is such a monumental ass pull that is executed very incorrectly that it has no impact. So I cannot even care. Just can't. I'm impressed people can still be hyped about Godzilla. It might be fake hype, you know? It really could be. It just can be group psychosis. Where they all just go into this trance where it's like they expected to be hyped for it. And so, yeah, let's go type thing. Give me a break. Give me a break. Sometimes you need the bad food to get you back on your feet. A little escapism is required time to time. Yeah, man. Absolutely right. But hey, maybe you shouldn't have said that, Kaido, because now now you're like giving me the license to go pick up another donut, bro. But I want to fight it. I'm gonna fight it. I have my rice cakes, peanut butter, and jelly, right? I mean jam. Americans say jelly over jam. It's jam, not jelly, because jelly is something else here, right? I have my rice cake, peanut butter, and jam. That's what I want to eat if I feel like I need a donut. So, substitution. If you're addicted to something sweet, have a healthy alternative. And yeah, that's what I got. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh man, I like this Leviathan so much that I just might have to use it somewhere. Now, I was going to use a different monster in the upcoming chapters, but I'm like, can you do a cooler monster than this? This one is too enormous. I don't think any character can somewhat summon this monster, right? So I'll think of another one. But yeah, this one is really cool. It's always nice when you can I suppose, impress yourself or surprise yourself. Like, oh, wow, I did that. It came out so well. Yeah, that's a nice feeling. What the? Okay, let me quickly put the line weight on this. Not even sure if I should. This area here is going to require a bit more rendering a bit later. All right. Gotta rewind that song. This is my favorite song. Keyword, a little. Right, yes, a little. You see how the brain just like convinces itself of some garbage that you never actually said, and then like, I'm gonna blame you for it. Nah, Kaido said I can have more donuts. Like, that's not actually what you said. But oh well, the brain, the human brain. This gotta be ultra thick, the lines. I remember this soundtrack, man, like, I think I was in grade 5. I was 11 or 12. Ah, bro, like, those were the days, man. Even though the school I went to was, this rich man's school, and only went there because my mom was a teacher there. Yeah, it was in grade 5. I remember how so many kids acted like they were grown-ups already, and I never understood it, right? And as a little kid, I wasn't academically up there because I was convinced, right? I was convinced that my grandmother fried my brain, so I can't be intelligent, right? I was convinced. But that isn't true, because when I got to varsity, I was teaching classes, right? I was at the top of the food chain academically. So I was like, so throughout high school, I actually was academically smart all along. What happened? Well, it's the whole witch doctor situation. And then when you have your parents like are in agreement with that absurdity that, yeah, you're not all that, hey, because your grandmother fried your brain, it can really ruin your potential. Now, it's fine, because if I was like in the top 10 academically in high school, I don't think it would have benefited me, really. I never saw high school to be something one should fight to be popular in or have a glorious time in, because I knew it was so temporary. I'm like, I don't care. So I'm just arguing the fact that So I was smart all along. There was nothing wrong with me. It was just the belief that something is wrong with me that then sabotaged my academic potential. But I suppose I would have been more confident to maybe study law, because when I got to varsity, I actually got into BCom law, right? Because I had given up art. Um, the dream died. I went to art school where I had this Jewish art teacher, and it was a lot of money for a 1 year course, but I learned a lot from him. So hey, I was never gonna know what I know without him, right? But he was a bully. He was a bully, and there were only 4 of us in class. And the first one to quit was this woman. She quit. The workload was too high, it was too much, and so on. And then I was the second one to quit. I quit because the teacher was a bully. I quit because he kept belittling me, saying my art isn't all that, but I was starting to draw better than he can, right? And always he would use me as an example for being a bad artist. And I just couldn't take it anymore. And I kind of cussed him out in class. I just didn't know what else to do. I felt like cornered, that this guy, you're not gonna keep disrespecting me in front of everybody in class, man. I cussed him out. And when I did that, he looked at me and he said, look, man, I'm just making an example, right? But he stopped from that day, bullying me like that. But it really gave me nightmares, like for real. Nightmares where monsters were chasing people, stealing away their talent. And it felt like my potential would never be reached with this teacher. Like, I'm thankful for the knowledge he's given me, but how can I rise when he keeps belittling me like this? So I quit, but there were other factors why I quit, but he was the main one. Like, the other main factors were I was living in prison, like literal prison, like a prison complex, where inmates were confined, basically. You'd have like the actual prison, prison building where all the prisoners are in, and then there would be multiple houses outside that prison, around it, right? Massive structure. So all the wardens were supposed to live nearby or around the area so that you never leave. So, what the heck? Why is this song playing? I don't know this song. Whoa. I hope I don't get a copyright for that song, because I don't know that song. Living in that prison complex, man, it was kind of scary. There were flipping dogs roaming the place. I would get home late. Neighbor's dog would come barking, and every night I thought it would be the end of me. Thought I would get eaten by a dog. You cry for help, no one comes, and you're just lucky if the dog doesn't kill you. So I survived every night. If it wasn't the dog, there were giant rats in the ceiling. You'd always hear noises, and one day I couldn't take it anymore. So I filed a complaint, and they brought one warden with like 4 prisoners, right, to come deal with the rats. So they put rat poison everywhere, up in the ceiling, and that did the job. There was one rat in the garage that I ran into, and it was a fight of the century. It was a real fight, bro, with a broom. I'm like, if I don't kill this rat right now, it's gonna come in the house and chew on my toes as I sleep, right? Because there is a hospital here in the hood, my old hood, right, where it was known for having rats that would eat the feet of its patients. The hospital is a cemetery at this point, bro. Like, you go in there, just know you're gonna die. The government does not supply enough resources for that hospital. My grandmother used to tell me all the time that the rats were eating people's feet, and each time you'd feel some irritation as you slipped by your feet. The rats would blow on your toes as it munched on you so that you would remain asleep. And I found that very funny. Like, Granny, you can't be serious. She was serious, bro. A lot of people woke up without a foot, man. And yeah, a lot of older people started fighting not to go back to that hospital because too many people woke up without a foot, without a toe, and the nurses would be like, I don't know what happened, because they're not monitoring you so often. So, living in that prison complex, it was toxic. When the prisoners came and they did their thing, I'm like, man, I guess these are the normal ones, or the rehabilitated ones, but they'll still never get out. Oh, black screen? Oh, I think that was because I was fixing a tab. Oh, there we go. Yeah, thanks for that. Is it fine now? Okay, cool. But anyway, those prisoners were the decent ones, I suppose. But then one day, the prison siren went off. There was a prisoner on the loose. And I'm like, come on. Because I knew that the garage door does not lock, right? So I was counting the days before the escaped prisoner managed to find his way into the garage and probably hold me hostage or who knows what, right? So it was always unpleasant being there. If it wasn't a dog or a rat, it was a giant mongoose, a bunch of them in the garden. But mongoose are pretty cool. They don't do any harm, right? But they can. So it was always unpleasant. But I stuck with it. I'm like, hey, I want to stay because I want to get this skill. But the house in that prison complex belonged to my uncle, and he would allow random family members that I've never seen before come over for a visit and sleep there. And they would say, I need your bed, young man, you need to go sleep in the dining room. And bruh, it was just so annoying that you had no privacy, no control. Just strangers showing up. One time there was a wedding the next day and a bunch of other niggas I've never seen before came, and they were messy, bro. Like, they were eating chicken and leaving the bones in the sink. I'm like, who the hell's supposed to clean all this? It was so annoying. I was trying to draw, and those crazy black chicks would come through and be like, hey, what are you doing? Why aren't you sitting here with us? I'm like, I'm doing my homework. Oh, your homework. What homework is that? You're drawing. Bye-bye. I was like, bitch, get away from me type thing, right? It was so unpleasant. If it wasn't that, the crazy cousins I lived with, one was a womanizer bringing in random females every other day while he was engaged, and I met the bride-to-be, and she was like madly in love with this dude, bruh, like madly. I kind of understand why he was doing what he was doing now. I don't blame him. I'm like, whatever, bro. It is what it is. But I just didn't like that he would bring these hussies in all the time, bro. He would then blast music so loud the windows were vibrating. It was just too much. And then my other cousin, he didn't bring so much women around. But the few that he did bring would bother me. You know, if I made a move back, they're like, I'm going to tell the police that you made a move on me. I'm like, wait a minute. You knew what you were doing, though. So, yeah, but I didn't say you should make a move on me. But, woman, you came. I just couldn't, bro. I almost went to jail because I assumed she was going to press charges for a false claim that I attempted to do such and such. And I'm like, dude, I can't go to jail over some bullshit, bro. Like, tell that girl she's crazy. And they're like, nah, don't worry. There's no such charge anyway. But next time if they come here and we're not around, tell them to go away. Because clearly they just like messing with you. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Or maybe I won't answer the door. Right? So all kinds of craziness. All kinds, man. The first time, and I remember one of my cousins hooking me up with actually a Xhosa girl. Any South Africans in here know about Xhosa girls, what they say about them, right? Okay, if you don't know, you don't know. But I didn't know at the time. And so I didn't know what I had to do. I didn't know that, look, if a Xhosa woman comes to your place and she lives and she grew up in Johannesburg, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. I didn't know any of that. I was just a mess, bro. And I was trying to be someone and something I wasn't, right? And I hated every minute of it. That, man, I'm surrounded by these crazy niggas. And if I don't somewhat comply with their standard of daily operations, well, they're gonna bother me some more. So I hated every moment of it. Was it fun here and there? I guess the freedom, the false freedom, thinking you're free, but you're fighting with rats and escaped convicts, right? Is that free? I don't think so. The cousin's always telling you, oh, by the way, don't walk to the supermarket on that side of the road. A lot of people get kidnapped. They'll put you in a van and drive off and sell your organs. I'm like, nigga, what? Are you serious? Right? Back in the day, it was a real thing. That if you're in the capital, Joburg, a lot of people really were always put in a van. And they just drove off with you, bro. Like dudes with masks, van stops right next to you. They grab you, gas you, put you in a van. That's the end. They don't do that so much anymore. They don't have to. I suppose the people who are funding them to gas you are no longer funding them. They don't have enough gas to just put you in a van and drive off. And no one would ask questions. Hey, they put that guy in a van. He was struggling. Like, no, don't want to get involved. You're on your own, mate. You're on your own. So you are always walking with not even one eye open, bro. Like, there was never any peace. Because either you would get put in a van, you get bitten by a dog, you'd be robbed, a convict escaped, a rat chew on your foot. Nah, bro. It was just too much, right? It was just too much. So a guy ended up leaving. And the cousins were toxic, like have arguments. One cousin was always upset that, I grew up with both my parents and he didn't. And I'm like, nigga, look, man, that's not your fault, but it's not my fault either, bro. You gonna be mad at me and what? You gonna threaten to beat me up? Like, nigga, we both know that you lay one hand, you're the one who gonna be in trouble, right? Because there was no way I could win in a fight with that guy. He's like almost twice my size. you know. And I'm like, you're not going to gaslight me into starting a fight with you, bro. This is some petty bullish. And he's like, you know what? You're actually pretty smart, aren't you? I'm like, what? You just figured that out? Like, nah, I'm just used to niggas who are so easy to taunt. Any other nigga would have thrown a punch right now, and I would have ended their life. I'm like, well, I know how to pick my fights, bro. You can disarm somebody physically, but I can disarm people verbally, right? If I know I can't win a fight, I'll disarm you a different way. I'll de-escalate the situation. If I have to make you feel like an idiot, I'll do that, right? Or if I have to make you see the error of your ways, I'll do that. So it was just unpleasant living with somebody who hates you for things that are out of your control. Just wasn't it, man. It wasn't it. So of course you can imagine creatively, how am I supposed to draw and focus living with hateful cousins, rats, prisoners, right? It was a terrible environment. I had to go. And I don't regret it. I don't regret leaving. But after leaving that art school, I then went to a university that went bankrupt multiple times, changing their names and so on. And I never understood how the hell they were giving dudes from the hood so much student loans, bro. I'm like, because there were like legit bum niggas on that campus, like proper street niggas that you be like, this guy doesn't belong here. He's the type of dude who'd rob you at the bus station, right? What's he doing here? Well, student loans. And they didn't even have to have good grades, bro. I'm like, what? This guy's an idiot and a thug, and he's here? The bank granted him a loan? How? Why? I don't know. But thousands, if not millions, of people who went to private school in particular are in debt, like serious debt. I know that's the case in America, but here it's real, man. It's really real. It's really real as well. Okay, I gotta concentrate here. You know when you illustrating the tatas. And I have to avoid a certain detail with them here on YouTube. I gotta concentrate. There we go. But yeah, so in that school, the first thing that I signed up for was BCom Law. I'm like, my art journey is over. It was not meant to be. This is Africa. I'm doomed. Let me just be a lawyer. Because my dad's a lawyer. And he's like, yeah, it's about time. I told you so. I just didn't want to force you because you'd blame me if you crashed out. Like, yeah, whatever, Nick. Then I go in there, and I think I was doing BCom Law for about a month or 3 weeks. I quit. You know what really made me quit was there were so many retards in all the classes, in human resources, in accounting, in LLB studies. There were so many dumb alcoholic niggas everywhere. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then on top of that, the straw that broke the camel's back, I hated how a lot of the lecturers were women. And not just any type of woman. I'm talking about like very attractive women. I didn't like that. Especially in our accounting class. Bruh, there was this fine lady. She was so fine, and she was dressing up real fine. She knew what she was doing. And a lot of the alcoholic students would be low-key flirting, and she was nice and all, but she would kind of entertain them. she really did not establish boundaries. I'm like, this is not good because it's only going to take a couple of months before that alcoholic guy is sleeping with the lecturer. I didn't like seeing that. I didn't like being in classrooms where there were a bunch of retards, bro. Alcoholics, dudes who were smoking, dressed like dudes who belong in a damn liquor store or shebeen. I did not like that. I'm like, no, I can't stay here. These people are crazy. The lecturers are not professional. They don't feel like a teacher. They don't feel like there isn't a student-teacher relationship here. It feels like it's anything goes. So I didn't like how unprofessional it was. I could barely focus. There were so many people in the classes. Dudes were coming in smelling like liquor. Others baked out of their minds from marijuana. I didn't like it. So I'm like, nah, I'm out. I'm going to go to graphic design. Right? I'm going to go to graphic design, and that is going to be the end of it. And that's what I did. Right? BCom was not an easy subject or module to study. There's so much work in there. One guy he's the one who suggested that I take it because he was taking it also. Yeah, he got fried in the head and couldn't handle it anymore. Right? He got baked out of his mind, dropped out completely. So I was like, okay, bro, let me go to graphic design then, because you're like totally jacked right now. And I went to graphic design, and it was all right. It was not smooth sailing, but it was all right. I got that worthless degree, and it did not help me whatsoever in my career at all. At all. And most of the lecturers never taught you anything. They would just put a YouTube video, especially when we did animation class. You just had to do everything that was being done on the YouTube video. And I'm like, this is horrendous, bro. And I remember a lot of the lecturers favoring foreign students a lot. Now, of course, I was a favorite because, you know, I was the least nigger with the niggery in him, right? So you could say I was a house Negro. That's why they like me so much. Whatever. But they still favored greatly foreign students because of political reasons. What? The camera died? Ah, come on, y'all. I think it could be you too. Oh, the camera's still back. Okay. Yeah, they favored a lot of foreign students, and because of political reasons. I think they were getting a raise or something. I don't know. But that really wasn't cool, because that's when I started noticing that despite all your efforts, they could really just not give you what you deserve. And from there on, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna take this thing so seriously anymore. I'll just get the bare minimum grades. Imagine having to draw that monster in full form, different angles, if you decide to put it in the story. Yeah, that would be a lot of work. So, chihuahua. Heck no. My finished prayer will pray for your safety. Thank you, mate. A finished prayer. I've never heard anyone speak Finnish. It's called Finnish, right? We once had a Finnish exchange student girl in high school, and she liked me actually, and I liked her back. The problem was, I had this loudmouth friend that would tell everybody that he was just so obnoxious, man. He said, "Yo, bro, if you like that girl back, I'm gonna tell everyone because she looks like a boy." And I'm like, "Bruh, are you seeing what I'm seeing? She has short hair, but that is not somebody built like a boy. That is all butter right there with the freckles. And you're saying, what do you say? Like, nah, you better not do anything with her. Yada yada yada. I heard she wanted to ask you to the school dance next week." I'm like, "So what? I shouldn't do it?" "No." And I'm like, damn, I missed out on some Finnish butter. But oh well, that's the last time I listened to somebody else. Yeah, I wonder where she is now, or what she does now. We had a lot of exchange students in high school. Had a lot of South Korean exchange students. They look so lost, bro. Sometimes I would wonder, what are you doing here in Africa of all places? What are you doing, Korean person? We had one guy, his name was Songjing. Yeah, Songjing. And he didn't like me. He didn't like me at all. But he was rather dim-witted, right? He subscribed very easily to the popular kids. And I was a free thinker. And there was a time they asked him about Taekwondo as to which martial arts do you like the most? And he said Taekwondo. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Well, you know, I personally think this other martial arts is pretty cool. And he looked at me and he tried to trip me, right? He tried to trip me, to throw me on the ground. But I was leaning against the wall. So I'm like, is this guy retarded? You can't trip me if I'm leaning against the wall, right? So, yeah, he was retarded. He was trying to impress the popular kids, like, oh, let me pick on this guy, let me trip him. Like, bruh, I'm leaning against the wall, you can't trip me, idiot. And everybody saw that he is retarded. So, in the end, I won, not him, right? Rather buy an online art course for $300. Yeah, it's better off to do that. Kyla, it's finished. Oh, okay. Kyla, really? That's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to do some research on that. There is a Captain America from Finland. I don't know if you know him. The movie Sisu or Sisulu is based on him. He's the guy who broke into a Nazi prison camp and broke out again. And he's from Finland. That was Captain America, bro. I don't know if you know him. And then he was executed near the end of his life, which was sad. But yeah, that was a very inspiring story. That, damn, now that's really Captain America right there. Yeah, the guy was jealous. God forbid a girl can have short hair, right? And it was old school retro short hair. It wasn't like a boyish haircut type thing, you know? And I'm like, dude, this hair is so cool. Why are you hating? No, you better not, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hater. But that guy is gone now. I don't know what happened to him. He spent a lot of his time playing FIFA on the Xbox. And he actually ended up doing soccer management. But after that, really don't know what happened to him. Nobody knows. Oh well. And his dad was a Catholic priest. And it's always children of religious, or not religious people, but the pastor's child is always jacked in the head for whatever reason, monumentally. So I just never understood. Okay, finally. This is almost done. Let's add some scratch action here and there. And to add this part now. Oh man, I'm hearing the thunder outside. So it looks like the lightning will return after all. Let me check the weather. Well, it's not even raining currently, but it's saying that it's raining. Oh well. You know, these types of shots in most manga, these metaphoric, symbolic shots, they're really cool, man. They really get the point across, visually speaking. They're always fun to do. To sit and think about, okay, how am I going to execute that? I want, instead of showing the character's face, you know, showing the emotion all the time, let's just put the character inside their own head and see what they kinda experiencing or feeling within their own head. That's always fun. Finally, it's time. It's time to do what I like doing the most. Rendering and contrast. Whoops. Just add this here. Ah, damn. The lightning is strong, bro. Oh, the thunder is strong. Okay, I need to hurry. Let's see what it's gonna look like. There we go. Is she correctly centered? There's something that I actually this part here. Uh, See, this is where I suppose the fun part comes, but also the part that takes time. I'm gonna experiment on a new layer. Let's see what happens. Come on. There we go. And then here, let's try doing this. Oh man, I don't have the brush tool that I actually wanted on this computer. But hey, this one seems to be interesting. Ah, damn it, what happened there? That's not bad. I'm trying to be artistic here, and I don't have the right brush for it. But anyway, I'll fix that later. Let me do this one here. And this tool. See if I can use the right brush then. Is it this one? No. It's not this one either. It looks like I don't have it. Oh, it should be this one. Doesn't have the same effect. This one was the best one, I suppose. Ah, that really ain't bad. Let me decrease the size of the brush. No, Mr. Lightning, get away. Decrease even more. Okay. Um, the monster might have to be slightly smaller at the top. Let's see if I do this. Trial and error, trial and error. Uh, and I don't have time for trial and error because this damn thunderstorm is flipping growling. Oh, there we go. Yeah, not bad. I'm gonna put this on a different layer. There we go. In fact, let me try this brush here. Not bad either. In fact, it might be better this way. But there is a mistake. Luck, what do you mean? From what comic? I don't remember if I was talking about a comic. Oh, Kyla means yes and finish. Oops. Oh man, I need to do more research, bro. Poop tart. What tablet am I using? It's a Wacom Intuos, just a simple tablet. It's a small one, an A5 one. There's a gap open here somewhere. I just can't find it. What the hell? going on? I can't select anything. What a stupid glitch. What's going on? I'm running out of time. Why is it selecting everything? Man. No. Uh-oh. Flash of lightning, y'all. Ah, damn. There's gonna be a power cut in 10 minutes. Did I charge my phone? I did what I could. I did what I could before it's lights out for who knows how long. And this sucks. I haven't even started rendering things properly. At least I inked. But the most fun part, come on. Come on, bro. Okay, let me try to put in some blacks here. Ay, ay. Mm. Come on. Damn, I don't know if y'all can hear that. That's the thunder. I guess it's gonna be a serious one again. I guess if Pierce were to come in now, it's not gonna work out because I gotta go now. Stupid lightning. The most fun part. Oh yeah, now it's starting to pour. Come on, let me this put all the black here. If I lose connection, powering out y'all. But I don't want to fry my system. Alright. It's strong. Some serious lightning. Okay guys, well, that's life. You gotta do what you can while you can because now this damn storm is gonna wreck everything for me. So yeah, y'all. Until next time, I think there's gonna be lightning for the whole week. There's nothing I can do. What a shame. Yeah, what a shame. You're definitely in the jungle. For real, bro. Like, for real. But, alright, yo. I'm out. Peace.